Today, I'm sitting down with two amazing Gen Z mamas to be, my beautiful niece Sierra and her powerhouse friend Clarissa. We're talking pregnancy, parenting, and how they're planning to raise the next generation. Join us. To who's sitting at your table. Today's episode is one that hits especially close to home for me, and it's very personal. As a proud Gen X woman raised by a boomer, Mrs. Yaiko Teeter, which is Sierra's grandmother, I've seen how motherhood has shifted across the generations. And today I get to pull up a seat with two incredible Gen Z women who are stepping into motherhood in their own bold and beautiful way. First up is my sweet niece, Sierra. She's a glowing mama. And Sierra, you're in your 7th month, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And she is such a boss because Sierra has a business, Sierra Nicole Aesthetics. And also it's in Sassoon, right, Sierra?
Yeah.
And a little shout out for your Sure Madness salon and spa. They're sitting in over there in Sassoon, so go see them. And while Sierra is stepping into motherhood, she's going to put a little pause on the focus of her business. And you're going to
Yeah.
focus on motherhood. Although you still have your entrepreneurial spirit alive and well, I'm super proud of you. You want to focus on being a mother. And also joining us is her dear friend Clarissa. You're pregnant, and get this, guys, not just with one, but she's pregnant with two. Yes, you heard that right. Twins. And you are in your 2nd trimester, right?
Yep.
Yes. So she lives in Rockland. In career, she works as a clinical scientist in dermatology research. And she helps design clinical trials, manages patient samples, analyzes data, and talks directly with all these patients. What a queen. And she's brilliant. And guess what? She's navigating what life is going to look like after babies arrive. I'm sure a lot of the mothers out there are all being able to relate to this juggle, right? It's a challenge and it's a life balance. So these two beautiful ladies are expecting babies and they're building their future. So today we're going to talk about all of it, how they are going to raise their baby or plan to raise their baby. Are they going to leverage all the generational things that they've learned from their motherhoods, from their aunties and mothers and grandmothers? So let's get into it, okay? All right. So, Sierra and Clarissa, now I'm going to ask you some questions here. We're just going to go one by one. You don't both have to answer at the same time. So, let's talk about this. How are you physically feeling right now? Like, physically, emotionally, and even hormonally about your pregnancy so far. So, Sierra, you can go first, and then we'll have Clarissa go next.
I'll say since I'm towards the end, getting ready for her to almost be here, I'm starting to feel really tired. I'm
Yeah, of
really
course.
tired and just exhausted. So definitely ready to kind of put a pause on work.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I've actually been feeling okay because kind of it's been
Good.
an emotional roller
Of
coaster,
course.
but kind of just ready to get everything ready and prepared for her to come.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's all exciting stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hormones for sure. Like you're very emotional. I can just reflect back during that time where we used to watch commercials. Today's generation, you're on demand. But I used to watch Hallmark commercials. When they come on, I cry.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that's great. Then all that is expected, especially you being in your seventh month, right, of pregnancy. So I'll say, okay, Carissa, like tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you feeling emotionally, physically, and even hormonally?
Well, currently we just got done eating lunch, so I'm feeling a little bit of a food coma coming on.
I love it.
Um,
That's
but
honest. That's honest.
yeah, physically it's better. I'd say it's better now than it was first trimester. First trimester, I could sleep like 24 hours a day and still not
Yeah,
get enough sleep. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit more normal, like in terms of symptoms kind of easing up, no more morning sickness and everything.
that's
Now
good.
it's just coming to terms with my clothes fitting tighter and finding more
Yeah.
maternity clothes. Actually, I would say I'm probably in the thick of it. I got all of my hormones are all over the place. One minute I have like pregnancy rage, and then the next I'm crying at some puppy commercial. So,
Oh.
yeah, just navigating it and trying to deal with like the changes that are coming soon and like planning for that.
Mhm.
So kind of all over the place currently, but I'm navigating through
That
it.
sounds normal. That believe it or
Yeah.
not, as unnormal as
Yeah.
that whole feeling and everything you're going through, that sounds really normal, right?
Yeah.
So I can reflect back to the very beginning because you're in your second trimester. The first one, it just
Mhm.
there's some excitement in the beginning, and you start to feel little things changing in your body, and then you
Yeah.
just exhausted. You just can't get enough sleep, right? So
Yeah.
and then you're doing it for two. So imagine
Yeah.
that, right? So
Yeah.
okay, well, let's go back a little bit to your childhood. All right. Both of you. So, like, what's one thing from your childhood that really stuck with you, good or bad, that you can recall, bring that to light, like some things that in childhood that you can remember as a child that you would like to see implemented in your life with your children, good or bad. If it's bad, then we'll throw it out. If it's good, let's put it in a bow and bring it into your life of your being a mama and having kids. So what do you think?
So I
Childhood.
guess I'll say, I have a good and a bad. I feel like
Oh, okay, well, I wanna hear both. I do.
one of each. So with me being an only child,
Uh-huh. Oh,
um,
yeah.
I feel like since I was my parents only, they really coddled me and watched
Ah.
over me, didn't really want me out of the house, getting into trouble. And which I think is great. And I know I'm going to be the same way in a way, but I think sometimes it was a little too much.
Mhm.
And I think myself, I want to try to not be too overbearing and too
Okay.
much of a helicopter parent. But a good thing when I was a kid is I feel like as an only child, my parents let me have friends over all the time and
Mm,
I didn't feel alone.
that's
And I
good.
also kept myself busy a lot too. I feel like they always had me in activities, whether it was gymnastics,
That's
dance,
right.
cheer, keeping me busy, which I really like that. I definitely want her to be busy with some kind of sport or
Yeah.
activity.
Those are all good things that I see your point. As a Gen X mama, what I can say is we were raised by boomers, and boomers, we didn't have like in today's world, like in your generation growing up, you had access to computers and you had access to cell phones, and we didn't have that growing up, right? I think the most we had that was computerized was a Nintendo, like the tennis. But our parents kicked us out of the house and we had commercials. And I think I might have shared with you guys this before. We had commercials that would come on and they would say, "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" They had commercials like that to warn the parents, like, "Oh, do you know where your kids are?" Because they would have us playing outside all the time. And then we knew when the street lights turned on, it's time to go home. So
Yeah.
but in your world, in your generation, being raised by Gen X's, because we were raised by boomers, we wanted to do something differently. Like you're talking about keeping some traditions and getting rid of some traditions, right? And so
Mhm.
it's kind of evolving along in generations. But I
Yeah.
can see why you felt coddled
Yeah.
because we were raised like our parents might be like our parents didn't care, but they did care. It's just
Yeah.
they were more relaxed. And maybe that's
Mhm.
a good thing to be a little more relaxed. So it was because we were in a generation where we didn't have a lot of, somebody watching over us like that
Yeah.
constantly, right? So I see that. What about you, Carissa? Tell me about yours. What do you think you can remember and what do you think you would kick out and what would you keep from your
Um,
generational raising?
yeah, so I'd say Sierra and I probably had a pretty similar childhood. We're both only children and
Oh,
we both
okay.
did
There you go.
gymnastics growing up together. That's how we met.
Uh-huh.
And so our parents kept us both pretty busy. And I think that was a love-hate relationship. Now that I'm older, I see the benefits of keeping your kids busy. I definitely think that it helped me grow in ambition and drive. But also at the same time, I think it's fostered a probably not so healthy relationship of always wanting to stay busy to the point
Mhm.
where you burn yourself out. And so I don't want to necessarily put that on my kids where I feel like they can't ever take time to just relax and be
Yeah,
a
I see
kid.
that point.
So,
That's really good point. I do see that.
yeah.
I get that because you want them to be a child. You want them to kind of enjoy being a child.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. My husband, part of the reason why him and I get along so well is because he usually is so much on me about taking a break, and so
Oh,
it's nice
good
to,
balance.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good balance, and I think, yeah, I think it's something that I probably needed a little bit more in my childhood, but also it's, good to foster that ambition early.
it
Yeah, have
is.
something to chase.
That's
Yeah.
really good that you're being mindful of that. That is, really healthy, and I do like that. I think that's awesome that you and
Yeah.
then you have a husband that's saying, "Hey, take a little break, be kind to
Right.
yourself, be easy, take a
Right.
break and enjoy yourself." It's that whole mentality I like to foster in my life is be living in the moment, because when you're
Right.
living in the
Mhm.
moment, you actually start to see things around you that matter. They might be small things that you pass up, which those small things are big things, right? Ultimately. So good. So becoming a mama, okay, what you kind of sort of answered this, but one of the questions I had is what does being a good mom mean to you? So think about that. What does it mean to be a good mom? And like again, as just stated a few minutes ago, be vulnerable, but be kind to yourself, right? And because you're venturing into motherhood and you used to be the child. Now you are gonna be the example. And I
Yeah.
kinda I say that with a kind of like like, kind of a funny laugh because, you guys used to be the children, and I was your auntie and your mom, is like and you're just doing your thing. Now you have a little one that's gonna do this to you. But you're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have to be a mother. That's a little ways down the road. You don't have to worry about that, but now it's like, what does it mean becoming a mom? What does it mean to be a good mom? What does that look and Sarah, you can go first, and then Carissa, you can go second.
So I think, I mean, it's a loaded question, but I feel like it's about balance and patience and just being real with your kids. I feel like how
Yes,
some people, if they mess up and yell at their kids or get angry and they're like ashamed to apologize to their kids, apologize to your kids. Let
I
them
like
know
that.
that you mess up and that no one's perfect.
Human. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
human. Yeah, that's very good. That in our generation, at least, I can see how we were that way. We were like not the way you were, opposite. Meaning we have to be perfect and we have to be a certain way in front of our kids to earn their respect. But
Hmm.
it's in your generation, hey, let's have this open communication. Let's have this honest platform between each other so that we can my child will feel comfortable coming to me as well, to be honest,
Yeah.
right? A two-way street. I like that. What about you, Carissa? What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's important to own up to your mistakes when you're a parent to your kid to just let them know that you're not perfect. At least for me, growing up, I had this idea in my head that my parents could do no wrong and that they were just like they had a life figured out. And it didn't really hit me till my parents they separated when I was 18,
Okay.
and so it wasn't till then when you start to see kind of like the divorce aftermath that you're like,
Mm,
oh, okay, my parents have some faults to them and I'm just now seeing it, but it kind of alters your reality of like your parents growing up and your
mhm.
perspective of them. So I think owning up to your mistakes with your kids and showing your vulnerabilities. I think something also to add on is that a lot of the parents that I've seen where they may not have that they have like a way where if they're tired or they don't feel like explaining something to their kids, a lot of times they'll just say, well, it's because what I said. This is
Mhm.
what I said, this is how it goes. I don't need to explain to you. I'm the parent, you're the child, just listen to me.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's something that I think usually it starts a trickle down effect of like the kids just don't respect the parents because you're not respecting their ability
Mhm.
to learn as they
Yeah.
go. Try
Yes.
to explain to them and fess up when you're like, I just don't know the answer. Like that's my where my limitation ends, but make the effort to show that your kids that like I want you to understand, I want you to learn. Not just be like, I'm tired and I don't feel like explaining it.
Yeah.
Just listen to me.
What great feedback. I do love that because both of you. You had some really good feedback. I think that your generation is really wise. You've been through some things. I've been through some generation changes through my mom and the boomer side, which was a little bit more relaxed. And then we became this, generation where our parents didn't really express a lot of like hugs and loves and kisses and stuff. You knew it. Okay, they love me, but even though they didn't express it as much. And then as you're in your situation, your eyes are wider open, right? You're noticing these things and how you feel about how very emotionally intelligent that you both are able to express, hey, I want to have open communication. I want to have a platform where my child and I could speak honestly with each other. And then you recognizing from a child of divorce, recognizing, hey, my parents are human, and they aren't perfect. So there are going to be mistakes, but you also notice that they had a wall up. They just didn't feel they could share that with you. Maybe from the flip side, maybe your parents were, when they did that, maybe had a hard time struggle internally on how they felt. So they didn't know how to express it to you because they
Right.
had that, they had a like struggle for themselves in understanding it. So, and it's difficult. So, that's why we have therapy. I guess,
Yeah,
right? But
true.
but the one thing is, um, I'm a divorced I'm a mother divorced, and, I know that, that could be challenging for the kids. It could impact them in a lot of ways, and my son once told me when he was really young, he wanted to know why daddy and mama divorced, and I just told him that daddy and mommy are better apart. We're better for you apart. And he did recognize that later on. And when he was, I think it was 5 years old when we separated. And then I think it was like 7 or 8 when he had a conversation with me about how he felt that mommy, I think you and daddy are much better now that you're apart. You love me better, right? Love
Yeah.
me in a
Yeah.
different way. It's like, what an old soul. He recognized that. So I love those answers. They're awesome. So thank you for sharing. What great answer. So Carissa, I got a question for you. Okay, you mentioned loving your job and you're trying to figure out how to, if you're going to be able to return back to work with twins when they arrive. What's going on through your mind as you plan this ahead? Share with us your feelings about it, and just be vulnerable about it and be honest. Right? Wait, we just talked about that, right? To be open and honest. So let's
Yeah.
practice.
Mm. Well, I could go on for like 20 minutes about this.
So
So,
you've really been thinking about this, huh?
yeah.
It's a struggle for a lot of women because we're used to, especially now in your generation, my boomer side, the mothers didn't necessarily work so much. And then my generation, we all went to work. And then you guys are even more involved in that. So women are powerhouses, and entrepreneurs and making things happen. And you have an amazing job. So I can see, and you have passion for it, for my, communication with you. So I can see how much of a challenge that could be.
Yeah, it's difficult. So yeah, just a background. I went to school for about 10 years and I'm just recently done in the last
Oh,
year and
wow.
a half. And I
Mhm.
started working at this clinic in Sacramento and I really enjoy it and I like the work that I'm doing. But quite frankly, because I am a fresh graduate out of school, it doesn't pay necessarily what I need to raise 2 kids, especially
Mm.
now with how much daycare costs.
Oh my gosh, and now
Um,
you're gonna have 2,
yeah,
so that's double the
yeah.
cost. Oh my
It might
lord.
have been doable with 1, but it's definitely not doable
Mm,
with 2. So, financially, it's been rough to try to kind of accept that,
mhm,
and then or I guess financially, it's easy to accept it, but mentally, it's hard to accept that because it's you go to school for so long and you work so
mm,
hard to do it and you enjoy it, and it's not that you don't want to continue working in that field, but
mhm,
it's caused, me to have to reconsider if I stay in the field that I'm in simply because it's not paying me enough,
mhm,
which is hard to overcome just for that own perspective. So, yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And they don't really teach you in school how to negotiate salaries and do that either. So
yeah,
it's something you learn as you go. And
Mhm.
so coming to terms with just being like staying at home, I've been so independent so long. I mean, Sierra's known me pretty much my whole life, and I have always been super busy. I've always had either a job or even two at the same time and going to school. And to now have to slow down and just stay at home and take care of kids and have to rely on somebody else to help me pay the bills has also been
Oh,
like
yeah.
hard to get over
Mhm.
of just accepting that and yeah, finding that fulfillment where you're not having like a career to chase anymore and then being so early on in my career to where I'm worried that when I do if and when I decide to go back, I'm being able to have that job security because I don't have much experience behind my belt to
Mhm.
rely on.
Yeah.
Um, and then anyone who's like in the research field knows that within 3 years, the field completely changes.
Oh, yeah.
Some technique that you came up with in 2018 has already been proven to be not
Always
true, or
evolving.
yep,
Yeah.
someone already developed the cure that you were trying to develop yourself, and so now you have to relearn the field within 2, 3 years, and if you're gone raising kids, it's a lot of homework that you have to catch back up on, and some employers might look at that and be like, "Well, you're already behind, so it's not worth it to us."
Yeah.
So,
How old are you? You don't mind me
20,
asking.
27.
Okay. So, listen, you're having twins, and I understand that whole thing. It's like a baby that you're saying goodbye to. It's like you
Yeah.
have built this thing up, and you rightfully should be feeling like you feel. I mean, I'm sure you probably had some tears over it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's if it's passion that you love about it and you take a break, just know that it will come back to you. You'll get back in there. Uh, the whole living in the moment thing is really hard. And I'm in my 50s. And when I always tell myself, what would I tell my 20 something self? Right. So you're like an example of a 20 something self that I used to worry about everything and I was hard on myself and I was God, if I could tell myself, like, "Girl, it's gonna work out. Just
Yeah.
relax. You're gonna go through some shit. You're gonna go through a lot, and it's gonna be hard, but it's you are going to break through that ceiling, and you will get there. You will. And just you gotta just work on now loving yourself, being gentle and kind to yourself, and then be in the moment because being a mom and a mom of 2, just being a mom is such an important job as well. And so you now have to shift and put this on a shelf, this career and this role. Doesn't mean you can't pick up and follow some stuff online and maybe do some online education in between, maybe to stay up on top of the you know the career path or whatever you're trying to learn more, what's happening with the research and just staying on top of it. You could probably still do that, and then stay in touch with some of your former coworkers or peers and people. Stay in touch with them, but in the meantime, be gentle and kind to yourself because you have 2 babies to raise, and they're gonna look up to you. They're cute little eyes, and just they just need you right now. Just it's such a beautiful thing to be a mom. It is not an easy role. It is not. I don't care what anybody says. That is a whole freaking job to be
Yeah,
as a
definitely.
mom, and let alone a twin. So, just surrender is the word I can say. Surrender, because that way you can just relax, validate that you have a sadness over it. Don't don't disregard that. It's the truth and it's real what you're going through on that. But you could just take it and put it on the shelf and say, I'll be back. I'll be back. And I might come back and talk a little bit or learn a little bit more here and there when I can. But I'm going to be focusing here and now on my health, my babies, my marriage, my family. You're going to have a family. And that's awesome. So all of those feelings that you feel, I mean, are so valid. But I do appreciate you being vulnerable because I feel sad for you on it. I feel your sadness and your and how you feel about that, and you have every right to feel those things. But Then there's this joy on the other side, like this whole bright, shiny joy coming around the corner here of 2 beautiful babies and a family that you and your husband are gonna feel even more connected to and a bond. That's beautiful. So, you're
Yeah,
be prepared.
yeah, the one thing that kind of helps me kinda get out of that sad mindset is that I think about the day that when my kids do ask me, like, "How did you feel about finding out that we were twins or that you were having twins?" I don't want the only memory to be of like, "Oh, I mean, yes, I'm gonna be honest that, yes, I was scared, I was surprised, I was shocked, but I don't want the only memories that I remember to be sadness or frustration or just something negative.
Yeah.
It needs to come out positive too, because that they're gonna remember that if I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it sucked," and they're gonna be like, "Well, that sucks. Like, why did mom, like, hate the fact that I was gonna be a twin? Like, that's not even fair." So, yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to keep it, like, on a positive note that
Yeah.
regardless that this is gonna be a good thing and that it's something that I've been looking forward to and that
Yes.
I'm really excited about too. Like, I don't wanna leave it on only a negative emotion,
No, and I don't look at it as
too.
negative. I don't see it as
Yeah.
negative. It was
Yeah.
more of a you have done this thing, worked so hard 10 years up for, and now you just have to it's not gone. It's just gotta put it on a shelf, right?
Yeah.
And you had been nurturing it and building it and doing all this for 10 years. It was your life. It was your baby,
Yeah.
essentially.
Mhm.
Now you have a real human baby, 2 babies coming, and the feelings that you felt and that you said, I don't think they're negative. I think every person that has been told you're gonna have twins have been shocked,
Yeah.
scared, nervous, and feeling
Yeah.
all the same things so you're not the only person feeling that way, and those aren't considered negative, they're human. So,
You know, it's
I think that's all it is. It's human, being human.
it's funny because when the when we went to the ultrasound and they told us that we were having twins, my husband and I saw the 2 sacks come up on the screen before the
Oh.
tech had even said anything, and we were like, "Oh my god, are we like, we exchanged looks at each other, and we're like, "Are we thinking the same thing that you're thinking? Like, am
Aw.
I seeing too?" And, when the tech confirmed it, we just sat there in, like, silence, and she's like, "Are you guys okay?" And we're like, "We're just shocked," and she's like, "You're probably the most calm people I've seen. Most people scream or, like, cry." We're like, "No, we're
Oh.
just trying
Well,
to
I'm gonna
process."
cry.
Yeah.
That you're making me yeah, I'm just out of joy. I mean, because it's so special, right? There are so many people, first of all, can't get pregnant, right? And wanna get
Yeah,
pregnant,
yeah,
and it's such a joy. It's double the bundle of joy and, miracles, right? A
yeah.
baby is a miracle, and you are having double the miracle. And can you imagine being that technician? To be the person to be able to say, "It's a baby! Oh, it's 2
Yeah,
babies!"
I think that too.
Or it's, "Hey, it's a boy or it's a girl," right? Because either way, finding out what the sex is important too. I mean, on the earlier stages, they can't necessarily find that out. I think they have to do blood work and all that. I've been so out of the loop, on how they've been doing it these days. Sierra just the other day showed me her, 3D, ultrasound. I mean, that's amazing, right? Wow.
Yeah.
You have to see your baby's face and it moving around. I mean, that makes it really real, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it
that's
does. It
amazing.
feels crazy to, like, see features and kinda get a little bit of an
I
idea of what they're
know.
gonna look like.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So Sierra, so as an entrepreneur, how do you feel to have to put pause on your business right now?
I feel like I've finally come to terms with it where I'm
Mhm.
ready. In the beginning, I was always like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'll be back. Everything's gonna be great." And it wasn't until my mom and my husband really sat me down and they're like, "Have you really thought about this? Are you really gonna come back after a month or 2?" And after really looking at my income and even just thinking like, wow, do I want to rush back to work after
Mhm,
having her?
mhm,
And I feel like really thinking about it, I would, as sad as I am to leave my business and all my clients that I love who are like close friends and family. And I mean, I see them every month, some of them. So
mhm,
it's going to be a weird change, but I'm definitely ready to be home. I want to
mhm,
be home with her. I want to have all those experiences. I want to
mhm.
be there to see her do all her first. I don't want someone else raising my
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
No.
because you
And
know
I
what? My
just
generation, we missed a lot of those things because we had to go back to
yeah.
work. I had to go back to work. So there's no question about it. But yeah, and you worry about who's going to watch them. Are they going to be good with them? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because you just don't know nowadays. You hear all kinds of stories, and I would feel more comfortable if it was me there
Hmm.
raising her.
Hmm. Yeah.
And even I wonder sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love that Mima watched us, but I just
Yeah.
wonder how different it would have been if my mom would have been home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even how our relationship would maybe be different if she was home raising me.
Yep, that's great. That is so true. And the boomer world, my mom was home and she was home all the time. So we were home with our mother. Mima didn't work, right? And then when I in my generation, your mom's generation, the Gen X's, we were workers. We went back to work. We had to go back to work. The good thing was that we got to leave you and Chantal, we got to leave our children with our mother, so
Mhm.
who's the safest person we could think of? Family, right? It's still good that was the case, but we missed out on a lot of stuff doing it ourselves. So you have a great point. I'm sure, Carissa, you feel the same way, wanting to
Yeah.
be there for your children. Have you thought about like who's going to help you with the kids? Are you going to get some help with the twins?
Well, my mother-in-law has been begging us for kids since 3 months of dating. So when I told her that I was pregnant, she like I she doesn't really show emotion that much, but I think I saw her go into the house and cry after
Oh,
I told her. So she's ecstatic, and my mom is like already crocheting baby blankets.
so
So
you got a lot of
um,
help.
yeah,
That's
we got
great.
help, so it's good. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. Now, share you kind of sort of shared it, but both of you, one by one, it doesn't matter which order. What is your biggest hopes for your babies, and what are your biggest fears, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh goodness. I'm like trying to think. I mean, my biggest hopes for her is that she just follows her dreams and does what she wants to do in life and to just not hold back because I mean, it's crazy. You hear it from your parents. Time flies by.
Hmm.
You'll become an adult as soon as you know it. And it's true. I mean, time flies by. I mean, even with this pregnancy, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I have time. It'll be fine. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, she's gonna be here in almost a month and there's still stuff I feel like I want to do and need to do. So
Hmm.
just for her to chase her goals and her dreams and do what she wants to do in life and
Yeah,
don't hold back.
yeah. What do you think,
Yeah.
Carissa?
Yeah, I think pretty I would say I kind of tying back to what I was mentioning earlier is just to take the time to relish in the moment and everything like once you start living life and you see all these aspirations and goals just to slow down and like realize that yeah, time goes by quickly and you need to just relish and appreciate the moment. And so I hope that my kids just kind of live their life to the fullest and enjoy every moment. I think with their dad, they'll definitely get that because he's definitely in the moment. I think
Yeah.
it's something that I just hope and I worry about of like that they're just happy and that yeah they're chasing their dreams and
Mhm.
just wishing the best for them.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, we're gonna have a little fun with this one next question. We started this kind of series called Add to Cart. So I'm just gonna do a little spin off, like for Gen Z mamas. What is the one thing that you added to your cart for your baby and motherhood that is totally unnecessary, but you were obsessed about and you got it anyways? What did you buy that you feel like is not really necessary for you as a mother for your baby or whatever, anything to do with your motherhood and planning for your motherhood. What did you buy that you're like, okay, I really didn't need this, but I just had to have it. It's just something ridiculous that you feel you needed for the baby.
Okay, I guess I actually have one. I was like, what? I'm like trying to think. So, this, I will say I've thought about it because my husband thinks it's absolutely ridiculous and unnecessary. But for time's sake, I think it's great. So, on our registry, I added it's a washer, a sterilizer, and a dryer all in one.
Okay.
And he thinks it's unnecessary because he's like, we can just wash them by hand and throw them in the dishwasher and they'll sterilize and be fine. But to
Uh-huh.
me, I was like, That's gonna save so much time. We can just throw it in there. It'll wash it, sterilize, dry it. But the one thing is we need to open up the box because it does look kind of big. So I'm like, okay, where are we gonna put it? But I think that was the one purchase where it's like, okay, we could have gotten away with washing our own bottles, but I just feel like it's gonna be so
It
much
was something you just
easier.
felt like you just had to have it, so you got it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you get pushing points for that. Anything you could think of, Carissa?
Not yet.
You're
I'm
still kind of
still,
earlier in the stage and you're still kind of you probably
yeah.
might see something that you're gonna add to cart soon, you think.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like, well, I guess added like random like little cute baby blankets and like towels and stuff where I'm just like, this is really cute and there really has like probably no functionality to it, but it's gonna be great for pictures.
Yeah, oh,
So
that's cute.
Um,
Alright.
so I mean, I guess just like, yeah, little things like that where
Yeah,
it's like outfits or towels where I'm like, I just want
yeah,
this because it's gonna look cute for about
yeah.
5 minutes before they have like a blowout or a puke up on it. I don't care.
But let me just
I
tell
got
you, you're gonna have
pictures.
a lot of those, so you'll probably have to have enough of those towels and blankets and things like that because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to wash. You're gonna do constant washing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so, okay, any funny wild cravings or any, funny pregnancy moments you wanna share with us?
So I guess one craving, which to me isn't weird because being on TikTok, I've seen this combination before. But surprisingly, when I tell people, I get a few weird looks. In the beginning, I loved hot Cheetos and pickles. So like
Oh,
sometimes I would carve the middle of a pickle out and put some hot Cheetos
really?
in
Oh my god, that's funny.
there.
I love
And
it.
it's so good. It's like hot and sour.
Oh
I don't know.
my that's okay, I get it. What about you, Carissa? Any kind of cravings so far?
I mean, it's pretty much everything that I've already like or dislike, just amplify. It's not
Uh-huh.
really anything out of the normal, but I guess so. I do know the gender of one, and one is a boy. I won't know for the other one
Okay.
what it is
Wow.
until for a few weeks.
Uh-huh.
But I did have a feeling it was a boy early on because his dad is nothing but a meat and potatoes person, and all I wanted was, like, a burger and fries
Oh,
all the
okay.
time, and
Ah.
so I remember ordering, like, a salad and eating it, and I was like, "This is not satisfying, like, this tastes disgusting," and then I ate, like, this Mondo salad and was like, "Oh, I won't be hungry for dinner, it'll be fine," and then I get home, like, 2 hours later, and I just pound down this
Oh
hamburger,
my
and I was like,
gosh.
"I feel so much better." Like, "Yeah,
That's
this is
funny.
definitely a boy." Yeah.
Oh, wow. You never know, she might be a meat eater.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't discount that. Um,
yeah.
I remember when I was pregnant with Chantel, I used to work at Winters. There was a First Northern Bank, and next to it was a tienda, a little Mexican restaurant market. And I would go over there and buy like a jar of jalapenos, and I would eat that entire jar in one sitting. Or I'd get kimchi, and I would eat the entire jar. So that's probably why she's spicy. And then Josh, and I liked ice cream, but I could take it or leave it. I couldn't get enough of ice cream. And it was the only thing that could take the metal taste out of my mouth. Because with him, I had this metallic taste in my mouth. And so everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna have a boy." Well, yeah, sure as heck, I had a boy. But it was yeah, so it was the only thing. But I just now I love ice cream. Anyway, so yeah, we get funny cravings, right? That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Okay, here we are. This is gonna be a little bit more powerful. And I know I had mentioned to you girls before we did this podcast that I was gonna ask you if you were to say something to your baby, look in the camera and you're gonna talk to your baby. For example, dear baby, I hope you always just finish whatever sentence or whatever saying you want, because we could play this back for them, when they're old enough to understand. Who wants to go first? And you're talking now to your baby.
Okay. Um, I guess I'll go
And,
first.
and you can cry if you want, because I will cry probably.
I guess I would just say that I hope that they know that they're loved and that we are both super excited to speaking now. I'm excited to see you and I spend the next 18 plus years and I just hope that you're happy, you feel comfortable coming to talk to me and your dad about anything and everything and I just hope that you you aren't afraid to pursue whatever you're passionate about in life and not be scared of the challenges that you're going to face. And I just hope the best for them, that they're happy throughout their life.
That's
Yeah.
good. Good. What about you,
Well
Sierra?
said. Well
Yeah,
said.
well
I was
said.
gonna say something similar. I mean, yeah, basically, me and your dad are so excited to meet you and for you to come. And we've been waiting for this for a long time. We're so happy to be your parents. And just live your life to the fullest. Take everything day by day. There's good days and there's bad days, but there's always bright days ahead, even when you have bad days.
Mhm.
Just take it day by day and pursue your dreams, have fun, live life to the fullest. And me and your dad will always be here for you no matter what, on the bad days and the good days.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I want to just thank you both for sitting here with me and sharing your stories and opening up your hearts and talking about your pregnancies, your babies, your families. This episode is kind of like a time capsule, not just for all the other mamas that are listening, but for your babies to hear one day and then reflect back. I can't believe my mommy said that. All those kind of things, right? So to every listener out there, we hope you felt connected, inspired, and reminded that every generation has wisdom worth sharing. I wanted to say the next time on Who's Sitting at Your Table, I'm going to have my next episode is going to be with Sierra's aunt, a power of peace, healing, and presence of life from a sacred transition. So essentially, she's an end of life doula and she's a Reiki teacher. And I want to share her story, and it will move you. It'll show you how grounded a person could be to have a job like that, to do something like that. It's about life and death and a whole nother way of looking at her role, what people like her contribute to. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be our next episode. Be sure to follow and like and subscribe to Who's Sitting at Your Table. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. And until next time, we want you to keep showing up, growing up, and making space for conversations that matter, like the ones we just had. So thank you, Sierra and Clarissa, for making time.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks for having
everybody.
us. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us at the table today. We hope you felt the love, the laughs, and the realness. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, especially on YouTube and Spotify, and connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. Your support means everything.